Welcome to Moving Conversations, a podcast for movement professionals by movement professionals. If you coach, train, or teach movement, Pilates, or fitness, then this podcast is for you. With more than 60 years of experience in fitness and Pilates, your hosts, Brian Ritchie and Nora St. John, explore the science of human movement, diving deep into the facts, myths, and common misconceptions, hoping to spark thought and conversation about how we view fitness and movement. Now, let's jump into Moving Conversations. And welcome back to Moving Conversations. I'm Brian Ritchie. Joining me as always is Nora St. John. Good morning, Nora. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's summer here in California, which means it's fire season. So I just came back from Korea and I was driving up and it's like, the smell of summer in California. So anyway, other than that, I'm just delightful.
Yeah, we have that nice little heat dome here in DC, so
yeah.
it's going to be getting up into the upper 90s by the end of the weekend. So it's going to be a little warm.
A little warm.
Curious what the middle of America is dealing with, where our guest is coming from today. That's right, we do have a guest. We have a guest, Mr. Nico Gonzalez, and he'll be joining us in just a moment. But first, I want to remind you, if you want to get in touch with us, please do us a favor and hit us up on our Gmail account. movingconvos@gmail.com is the best way to get in touch with us. Follow us on Instagram at Moving Convos, Moving Conversations on Facebook. Those are the two ways that easiest to get in touch with us. And do us a favor, hit like, subscribe, all of that stuff. It helps the algorithms. It'll help us, in our ranking and all that sort of thing. So we really appreciate it. And do us a favor, please comment if you like it, if you don't like it, if you like a topic, whatever, please do us a favor. Those comments make a huge difference. We really appreciate it. All right. We got that out of the way. So Nora, since you've known Nico the longest, why don't you do the introduction?
Right. So our guest is Nico Gonzalez. I've known Nico for quite a while, probably over a decade now. And he was in one of our very first Balance Body educator trainings. And he came from a background of being a personal trainer, being an accountant before that, then a personal trainer, then a Pilates teacher. And he sort of showed up out of the blue a little bit and has really just absolutely rocked the world. He's an international presenter. He has a wonderful new program out called Pocket Pilates.
We got to get into that.
Yeah, we're going to get into that for sure. He has a studio in Cincinnati, Ohio, and is just a wonderful all-around kind of guy. So combining personal training, combining business, combining Pilates, entrepreneurship, all those topics we will go into as we go forward. So welcome, Nico.
Thank you. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for having me on Moving Conversations. Excited to be here. And thank you for that intro. Now I'm done. She said it all.
Hardly.
And, it's interesting how you said mixing of business and everything, because I just loved how Brian, kudos to you right away, that you not only said, welcome to Moving Convos, but follow us, like us, comments, because, these conversations can't happen without people listening and actually saying, oh yeah, I listen. So it's really important for people to say, if I'm listening, like it, follow it, make comments. Kudos to you.
Well, thank you very much. It's taken us a little while. We've been at this for over a year now. And what's funny is my clients are like, it's been a year. You have 50. How many episodes? I said, oh yeah. Wow. It's like the first 6 months, we didn't tell anybody. It was sort of under the radar. We were practicing. We were getting used to doing this. And with each week, we hopefully are getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And that's why we waited our first year before we invited anybody on, because we wanted to make sure that we had an audience and also that, we have a voice, and we wanted to bring other voices in to share what they know and things. And, you and I have been spending a little bit more time together on the road. It seems like we're teaching a lot more at the same events and going out to dinner and meals and things like that. And every time we talk, it's like, man, I learn more and more about you. So I'm always fascinated. And so I thought, no, we have to get Nico on. We have to, because I'm fascinated by your story.
So thank you. It's funny how when I get to know people more, their first usual reaction is usually, how are you still standing or sitting? How are you smiling? Right. I think it just goes back to how I was raised. I mean, I'm the youngest of 10 in a big Latin Puerto Rican family, and
wow.
So not only did I have to be loud to be heard, right? But just to be different, we had to kind of not show each other up, but just show up and do stuff. So it's been in my blood and my genes for a really long time just to do stuff like that. So it's nothing different for me. It's nothing that decided that, oh, one day I think I'm going to be this way. I think it's just me. And my close friends they know that. They're like, Nico's not going to just sit there. If we're going to go out, we're going to go do something. So kind of like my thing. It's kind of like my thing. So many of you, if we've met, great to connect with you again. But if you haven't, I kind of want to start in the beginning if I can, right?
Please,
Start at
that's
the
what we
beginning.
love.
Maybe we want your story.
I talked
Yes.
about my family, and it's being raised. It was very much like, you will get a job, you will go to school, and don't mess it up. Like, okay. So in high school, I'm like, I better get a job. So I think it was junior year in high school. Got a job at World Gym, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois, in the Midwest, where, by the way, it's 90-some degrees and humid. Brian,
Yes.
we don't.
It's that way everywhere right now.
Yeah. We don't have the fire or the risk of fire situation like Nora on the West Coast, but listen, I love this weather. I'm all about, all my clients know, they're like, this is Nico weather. We're here sweating like a pig, but Nico,
Me too.
I love it. Not gonna lie. So coming from the Midwest, Chicago right now is probably really hot and humid, although the lake effect is really nice. In high school, I worked for World Gym, and they hired me back in the day to laminate and type membership cards. Oh, that's cute. So, and then I did membership cards. I typed them out on a typewriter, laminated them, and just distributed. That's what I did. And then over time, they gave me more duties. So I was in the back office, right? I saw these muscular trainers, men and women, walking in and out of the back office. And listen, I could not believe that people would pay to go to a gym. I was like, wait. They're paying a membership.
What?
And they have to pay what's an initiation fee? They're already paying their membership. So the boss is educating them. Oh, no. To enter the door for the first time, there's an initiation fee.
For the privilege.
And now you pay membership. I was like, wow, this is something crazy. So I'm learning all this stuff. And if you don't know me, I have a little sense of humor, and sometimes a little sassy, and always in a funny way, right? In a funny way. So I'm sitting there in the back office doing work. And back in the day, the aerobic coordinator, not the group fitness lead or the group fitness manager, she was in charge of all the classes. She came in the back, put her head down on the desk, and started like bawling and saying, oh my goodness, I can't get enough trainers. I'm subbing all these classes. I'm exhausted. And I'm doing this. Anyone can get up there, put a microphone on, and play music. She gets up and she goes, I am going to teach you how to be an instructor. And you're going to get up there and you're going to see. Valerie Garcia, wherever you are in the world.
I love it.
I love you, Valerie. And she did. She was my mentor for I think it was a year and a half until I graduated high school. Before I was graduating high school, I was teaching group fitness classes and apprenticing personal trainers. I was the lackey, right? I was the lackey for the personal trainers. But still, it was great. It was great. And that became my hobby all through college. I moved away. I went to Ohio and went to the University of Dayton, got an accounting degree. But my hobby was always, oh, class is over. Oh, homework. Let's not do that. Let's go to the gym. Let's run. So it's always been my thing. It was always my, and I didn't know this. It was my happy place. I thought it was just part of the sphere, but it was really my happy place. Like, people come here and feel good. Although these people here are smiling when they're taking classes. They go and lift and they chit chat and they have a great time. They know their friends here. I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say one thing here because Brian's story is not dissimilar. Brian's mom was an aerobics instructor and a personal trainer in Hawaii.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then because you got started kind of the same way.
Yeah, I was going to university and didn't know what I wanted to do, and my mom went skiing, and Hawaiians don't ski, and there's a reason. She shattered her knee and came back and said, "I'm going to lose all my clients if I don't have someone fill in. I have 3 days. Do you want to be a personal trainer and a aerobic instructor? I have 3 days to teach you." And I said, okay. So I quit my job, went to work for her full time, and became her, basically her assistant, her legs, her mouth for a while when she went in for ACL surgery. I mean, and I had exactly 3 days. And there's something when you were talking about your story that I immediately identified with and thought, okay, we are kindred spirits. And I'm not sure if this goes for everybody, but I think you and I are both fearless. You don't it's not like someone says, "Oh, would you like to do something?" And you're like, "Oh, well, I don't know if I can do that." It's like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not, there's no question. It's like, "Sure, let's do it."
Right.
When, where, let's go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Same. And honestly, that's what got me into accounting. So I was elementary school somewhere, and someone's like, "Oh, this is a great path. This is what you do, but it's really tough." I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that." Yeah, I didn't love it. I didn't love it. And then after college, like I worked for GE as a financial analyst, and I had a hard hat, steel toe boots, my button-down flannel, a laptop, and they said 80% travel. And by the way, it wasn't luxurious travel because it was power systems. Power systems are the people who make and maintain the turbine engines for energy. So we're talking power plants, coal, water. So imagine where those are in the world. Remote.
That's so beautiful.
And imagine how Nico was in a remote area. So it took me literally less than an hour a day to do my job because I'm like, this is the ABCs of accounting. Blah, 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 blah. So now I have another 7 hours. Nora's cubicle. Hey, what are you doing today? Hey, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to fake it because that's not how I was raised. I'm not going to fake it. And they're like, you need to fake it because we're going to take our time with this job. I mean, it's so weird. So anyway, 2 years into this, about seven people who they hired right out of college, we all got laid off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all in the same week. So what did I do? On Monday morning, I went to go take my area group fitness manager's class at 9:30 in the morning on a Monday. And I come in and she's on stage with her microphone. She goes, "Are you playing hooky? What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'll tell you later." And then afterwards, she goes, "Hey, there's this new position. Do you want it?" I thought this was really cool at the time. "Do you want to be in charge of 6 clubs, group fitness departments?" I don't think I let her finish. I'm like, "Yes, that would be amazing." And it was amazing. It continued to be amazing. The check was not amazing.
Yes.
No.
We all know in this
Yeah.
industry,
Yeah.
when we start or wherever it may be, the passion is high, the love is high. It's below the screen. It's below.
Yes.
And so my entire family for an entire year during this job that I loved, I stayed up nights creating programming, hiring people, mentoring people to find the 8 count to be an instructor. My family's like, "Go back, go plead for your job, go get another job." I'm like, "I love my job." They're like, "You are poor." Stop. So, it was a journey. It was a journey. And, you hold the torch and you keep going. And after a while, things turned out. It was lucky. And this is where like the balanced body thing actually comes into play in a little turn. A hospital-based, and I'm going to snarl when I say this, a hospital-based fitness place called me and I would not return the call. do you want to come and lead this department? I'm like, I run 6 clubs. You want me to go to one? And it's a hospital? And I was 20-some years old. That's not cool. I don't do that. That sounds really boring to me. And so literally they were persistent. And the one person, she found me because they hosted this continuing education workshop with this international trainer from the West Coast. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go and pay for that. And then their manager caught me. She goes, I need to talk to you. I was like, yeah. And then so I moved on to Mercy, right? It was great. I expanded my own personal knowledge, and it was great because I got to work with the physical therapists and learn from them. I told them, I don't want to do what you do. I just want to know what I can do after people leave.
Yeah.
So that's when Pilates started going. I built a Pilates program, and then I had to internally train people before we had anything. And then this guy shows up from Balanced Body. The front desk person's like, hey, there's this guy, Dave, at the desk. Do you know him? I said, I don't know any Dave. Send him away. And he's like, well, he's walking back there. Dave, he's just walking. Yeah. He's like, I'm Dave. I'm from Balanced Body. Who are you? Why did you buy all this equipment? And how is this working? So we chit-chatted. By the end of the conversation, he goes, we're going to connect you with Nora St. John. She just started this education program. This is how this is going to work. I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, sure. He leaves, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but I think I'm going to California. We're going to do something.
I did not know that. I thought it was an Elizabeth connection, not a Dave connection. I didn't realize it was a Dave connection.
She did my initial training.
Yeah.
She did my initial training. But it was Dave. Is how funny how things just weave in and out. It's just, you just do stuff like Brian said, right? When someone says, oh, is that your thing? Or I'm like, it could be. When Mercy said, I really want you to just come to this and create a Pilates program. And I'm like, for 6 clubs, I created Pilates program, group fitness, and aqua. That's it? Okay, sure. It was just because this is what we do, right? We get challenges and we create, and somehow we have the resources, and we find the resources, and we learn. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's one of the things I always say during teacher training courses on the weekend. I'm like, if you don't know, find out. Don't fake. You can fake certain stuff, but if you don't know, don't fake it. Just say, I want to know what that is. I want to learn. And that was one of the parts of the wonderful journey of being an educator for Balanced Body. I'm like, I just knew just enough. And then being one of the educators, you had all these resources, right? With Nora and all the other amazing educators that you got to learn from. That was like, oh, that was just an amazing journey. That was a great time for me, right? And then learning from students and what they see. Because what they don't know teaches you what they need to know. And how are you going to teach that? Right? I think the funniest thing about this whole journey and kind of learning and growing, this is specifically for like all you trainers out there who are new, who you take your foundational training and you're going through the book. You're like, oh, these are the beginner exercises. Skip. By the way, that was me too. Skip. What are the fun ones? I only want to teach the fun exercises that my clients are going to go, oh, I couldn't lift my arm for 5 days. I couldn't. So I skipped that part of the book, right? Well, lo and behold, after Mercy, I worked there for 8 years. I decided to open up my own studio, and that's where I'm at. Lo and behold, what type of clients did I attract? I didn't attract the clients who are like, I'm hungry, feed me, the plank with side plank, single leg. I didn't attract those. I attracted the post-rehab client.
Yep. I
was like, oh, that's the stuff I learned at Mercy. And that's the stuff I skipped over in the book. Exciting. And now 75% of my client sessions are those things that are, by the way, new trainers, very valuable, and we charge top dollar for.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear, and this happened in Cincinnati, when I hear someone in Cincinnati say, I'm known as the hardest Pilates trainer in the city. And someone said, hey, did you hear about this? I went, I never wanted that crown. Good for you. Because it's not my jam. And for a lot of other things, that's not the value. That's not what I offer. It's not my value. Not my value. So
Nora and I talk about that a lot. It's,
yeah.
you know, there's one thing when you look at social media and things, and now it's always the pretty people doing the hardest exercises. And I find
circus fitness and circuit Pilates.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. But those who can do the basic exercises and teach them well and really work with the client and get them to do them properly and progress them correctly, they're going to make the greatest progress.
Forever. I mean, you know, the thing I always said is the clients that needed me stayed with me. The clients that need to just do the work and do it consistently to be happy and healthy and friendly, like that's the ones that are going to stay with you. Those that can hang upside down and whatever, they'll hang with you for a while, then they're going to go do something else because they like the stimulation. They want something new and they want something exciting, which is great. But you know, what we do is a little more, some of it is meat and potatoes. Like this, we're going to keep you moving for a lifetime. That's our job.
Yeah. And it's
exactly.
And for me, that realization, it was slow, right? I opened up a studio 11 years ago, coming from managing at 80% and then teaching 20% to, I don't need an office. I'm teaching all day. So I thought, okay, you know, I'll pay the bills. I'll do these privates. But I'm so excited for my Monday, Wednesday night class because this is really my jam. And I realized quickly, I'm like, that Monday, Wednesday night class, number one, takes a lot out of me in terms of creativity that doesn't need to happen for me at this point. And I am building something so much more valuable with the people who do the work during the day on these privates. And they're bringing me so much more joy.
Yes.
Right? And they're giving me a purpose. And now I realized this is a shift. This is a shift. So to the person who likes to start the 1 minute plank in a class and be the hardest person, good, you do that. I don't want to compete with you. It's not my thing. I think, and to each their own, right? And people always say, you know, and this is going into like studio stuff is, why don't you guys have more classes on the schedule? That's not how Fitness Physiques rolls. Fitness Physiques here, we roll with tons of privates because that's, hey, what do people want? If you want privates, we're going to give you privates.
You know what? I had an issue when I opened up this facility 10 years ago. I actually created a room that's now our Pilates room. But I created that room to be a small group exercise room where we could do 4 or 5 people. And I thought, perfect, this will be great. And we'll have a couple of classes a day. And then every single one of my clients that I was seeing 2 to 3 times a week said, oh, then I'll see you once a week and I'll do the classes the other 2 times.
Huh?
And I'm doing the math in my head. Like, I'm going to be losing lots of money here. That makes no sense whatsoever. And because they have different issues, they can't necessarily do a general class with everybody else. They need specialization. So it didn't work out, that it never materialized in my space, that I just said, you know what, financially, it wasn't worth it. And then they needed the individuality. They needed that personal attention, you know, to make progress, that I said, no, it's not worth it in my facility. And we turned it into the Pilates studio instead.
Nice. I waited until I moved to a new location to downsize that room.
Yeah.
I was like, I only need 4 people in here as a small group. I had room for and Nora was there, 20, 30 people.
Yeah,
20
absolutely.
people in that room. And I literally quickly, after I opened up the doors, I'm like, I don't need this square footage. So, you know, we got creative, and as business owners, we put on our thinking caps and like, what's going to make this happen? How are we going to prioritize. And literally when I thought of it, the business plan was majority of in that room and the minority in the equipment Pilates private room. But
Switched.
I realized, like, okay, I'm not going to fight this. This makes sense. So yeah, when people say like, we add more classes, I'm like, and they're not even clients. They're just people who are just talking. I was like, oh, you don't live nearby, so I don't, thank you. But I think we're good. Here.
So one of the things that, two things I wanted to bring up. One was you have a very exciting new project you've been working on called Pocket Pilates, which I want to make sure we get into. And then I know you guys want to talk a little bit about just studio ownership and some of the trials and tribulations thereof. But let's start with Pocket Pilates. So what is it?
So so can I start and how it? I'm going to start.
Yeah, start with the beginning.
Tell the story.
How did this thing show up in my mind? Right. So during COVID, I actually had time to breathe.
Yes.
After we all were on our couch like this for a while, and we decided to take a peek and go, okay, it'll be okay, I think, right? So after that meltdown, I'm like, now I have time to actually do something that I've been thinking about doing. And the technology quickly caught up to the idea. Caught up to the idea of and at this point, I realized, as we all probably did, we traveled ourselves out.
Oh yeah.
So, and we didn't realize how much we were doing. And the body's like, so many negative things happened in COVID, but one of the positive things was my body said, do you see what you did here? Do you see what you did here? And I fought it, and I realized I need to figure this out. So I created this online continuing education platform called Vital Lab. And so Vital Lab was once a month, we're going to showcase a masterclass on anything fitness, Pilates based. I'm going to have my friends come on. I've had both of these wonderful hosts on Movie Conversations, both on, where Brian's talked about text neck, Nora's talked about the lower body functions and the hip. And so once a month, it's movement based predominantly, and just a deep dive into something. And I host that, and sometimes I do my own. And that's been going on since COVID. And I created that for a few reasons. One is I've always wanted to do some type of platform like that. And COVID gave me the opportunity to focus and create that. And it's still going. Once a month, we have those, and it's great. Be glad to share that in the show notes with you afterwards with you guys. But there was something still scratching my throat. Being a balanced body educator and doing all these foundational courses of MAT 1, MAT 2, Reformer 1, 2. The number one thing, so many things that trainers come back to you and say, can you help me with? They always say, I have a hard time doing what you do on the fly. And I said, what do you mean? It's like, well, when blah, blah, blah didn't work with the magic ring or the ball, you switched, you kept the same muscle focus, but you did a different exercise. Where is that in the book? And where is that on your notes? I'm like, it's not. Right. And by the way, that also, as we all know, that takes practice, lots of trial and error. But sometimes it just comes to some of us naturally, and some really have to work on it and pre-plan and go, if A doesn't work, I need B, C, D, and I had to write all these down and have this with me all the time. So yes, Vital Lab was trying to do, it does some of that to give you inspiration. I decided to create an app for the Pilates trainer for this reason and this reason only. There are many things out there that you can subscribe to and watch a whole hour of amazing people that I truly respect globally, and you can see them teach a 55-minute Pilates session. And it's wonderful, right? But what I want to hit is the trainer that needs something here and now because they're on their way to teach and they're just burnt out. I just need some tweak on feet and straps right now. For today, because I have 3 classes to teach and I've got kids. I do soccer practice. I'm teaching so many classes. I'm certified. I get my continuing education, but right now it's not right here. Pocket Pilates, you search feet in straps. Boop, 20 videos that are 3 to 6 minutes long on a variety, me included, a variety of different presenters that I respect that do feet in straps. And you can go, oh, look, they're using the ball. Watch it. Create a playlist in your app. You know what? I'm here. Let me create hands and straps, upper body, lower body, core, flexibility. Osteoporosis. Boop, 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 boop. You create your playlist. Okay, I feel better. I'm a trained professional. These are just little reminders of things I probably have seen or maybe not. I love how Brian says this one little cue. I'm going to use that today. My clients are going to think I'm a superstar. I'm done. I did not have to watch 55 minutes. I didn't have to go to social media and watch social media circus.
Yes, randomness.
And you didn't have to search and go, I like it, but I want to make it safer so my client doesn't die.
Yes.
That's what Pocket Pilates is. It's short and sweet, and every week new videos come out. And if you don't want to create a playlist, we create some for you. We curate them, and they're like, here you go. So love this project. It's a hungry project for me. I like digging my teeth into it. It's challenging for me, and I'm getting great feedback from people who are using it and saying, hey, it'd be cool if you did an osteoporosis special. Okay, yes. It'd be cool if. Now they're asking about special populations. Nice. So this is our first year, and it's our maiden voyage. It's a great voyage. I'm very excited. Be glad to share that in the show notes with you guys as well.
Please. Yep.
And
it'll all be included.
I feel like it's something that is not necessarily out there, right? There's education out there. There's on-demand, but sometimes you have to dig. You got to go, I like how she did that, but I got to rewind to the 15-minute mark to look for that short box cool thing. What was that? Don't have to do that here. Just search for what you want. Yeah.
Nice. What's the?
Yeah.
I just want to know what the website is. Why don't you say the website so people can go to it? And
it's pocketpilatesusa.com. Pocketpilatesusa.com. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Perfect.
I'd be glad to share an exclusive Moving Conversations discount in the notes. So check it out.
Awesome.
See what you think. And then I'll give you the direct link to the discount. You're welcome to get a 7-day free trial and an amazing discount for the friends of Brian and Nora.
Awesome.
Like I said, I love it. It's one of those it's one of those comprehensive projects that I'm really excited about. Not only because it's new, but because as we all are educators, we see what the needs are. And sometimes we as educators want to give them, here's the encyclopedia of your for the answer. But I realized sometimes they just need this. Now go. Mm-hmm. Come back when you're ready. So this is the little, here's your nugget. Go take it. It's safe. It's effective. Trust us. We're educators. You don't have to go to social media. Come back when you're ready.
It's also, when you think about programming, right? Programming is, for Pilates particularly, right? I'm going to do a chunk of this, a chunk of this, a chunk of this, and a chunk of this. And if you've got a new way to do stomach massage or a new way to do feet in straps, like all your clients really need, like you can do the same order that maybe you typically do, some kind of typical order, whatever that is for you. And this is just like, let's freshen it up. Let's just add a little something. And I love that. I've been on your site and I just like watched a lot of the different videos, and they're just so perfect for that. Like, I just need something new. Because remember, you get bored sooner than your clients do, but your clients still need variety. So here's something they're familiar with, but we're just going to shake it up, give it a little bit of spice, and make them feel like it's brand new, and you feel like it's brand new. It just wakes everybody up. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And Nico, you said it yourself. Some people don't have the imagination or the repertoire. They know the exercises,
right,
but they may not have the depth that we do. I mean, we see it all the time when we teach. We're teaching our classes and we show 20 different ways to do a single exercise. And you can see their eyes get bigger and bigger. Like, I can't believe there are this many ways to do a squat or a lunge or whatever. And it's like, are you kidding? There's another 300. I just picked the top 20. And to have a place where you can just glance at, a moment's notice and say, I just need something different. And there it is. I'm going to try that one today. Absolutely. I love that.
We've all learned, we learn our traditional exercises, right? I'm just going to give an example of you learn the Pilates trapeze table, and this is what you learn with those. And then here we are, anatomy geeks, right? We're like, but wait. And then they're like, wait, where did you learn that with those straps? I'm like, we know anatomy.
We played.
How you work the pec major. So I stood there and I worked the pec major. Does it still hold true to the method of Pilates? Yes, I have stability, I core engagement. I'm using the same resistance. It's just a different range of motion.
Yep.
Different plane. I think we're okay. No one's going to send us to jail.
Pilates police will not come and arrest you for this.
I am waiting for them to say something.
One of the things that Brian and I talk about a lot, and Nico, you're certainly part of this, is exactly that. It's like, I think in different ways, all three of us come from a how does the body work perspective, and then how can I use the tools that I have in front of me to get the body to do what I want it to do, right? As opposed to these are the 5 exercises I've been told to teach, and I'm going to teach them in that order forever. Like we kind of go from what does the body need, how can it move, what can I do, and then we just turn around and we make it happen.
Yep.
And that is a unique skill.
I had a trainer come in and take a class from out of town. It was my Pilates group class. Lovely. And at the end of the class, are you ready for this? She puts her scarf on and she says, how do your clients feel about you not teaching them a Pilates class? And I said, when did you see me not teach a Pilates class today? She goes, well, you were standing in the back of the tower and you were doing arm work facing the tower and you were squatting. And I said, yes, I was. And why not?
Yeah.
I said, can you tell me what is not part of the Pilates umbrella method? Can you tell me? Do you not squat anywhere in Pilates? I just moved it to standing. And was I not doing a traditional arm exercise with the same spring traditionally? And were we not breathing and focusing on all those concepts? She goes, that was not my point. I said, I think it is. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. I said, and I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with what anyone can think, whatever it is. And like, I will sit here and show you and discuss concepts and show you how I'm still on the umbrella. And I'm fine with that. I don't have one client who has complained that they feel like this is outside the scope of the intention of why they came in, right? Mm-hmm. Because as we all know, we're movers. We're movers. We are here. And I tell this a lot in every education course I do. And especially in level 1, I say, our job, I tell this to all my trainers, our job is to make the other 23 hours of the day outside this door better for our clients.
Yep.
Better. And whatever emotional, right? And it's physical and relaxation, whatever that is, that's our job. That's our job. And yes, and we happen to do that in this room under the umbrella of the Pilates method. In the other room, same concepts. We call it fitness. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Doesn't bother me a bit. A bit there.
I think that's why Nora and I, a long time ago, just started talking about movement. And it's how she and I got together. Is she was coming from Pilates land, I was coming from fitness land, and we realized we were just talking about movement. And I was like, wait a minute, we're saying the same things. It's the same language. It's the same body. It's just movement and how we're providing resistance for it and what type of resistance we're doing and what machines we're using. They might be different, but in reality, it's just movement and resistance placed upon that.
At the end of the day, that's what matters, right?
Yeah.
And people they are safely progressing forward and checking their things off their list that they want to, and they keep coming back, right?
Yeah.
Back. I mean, sometimes I go down the wormhole on YouTube and I see all these fitness people going at it at each other about these small things. And they're like, I can't believe there's like, they have an army of people behind each of them.
Yeah.
The comments are just so like, it's going haywire, it's going bad. It's going bad. It's like, just, wow, I don't think it matters that much.
Yep.
I don't think it matters. So let it be. Yeah. I mean, there's one thing about the method, right? Maybe, maybe if it was like, if you told me this is how businesses should run, maybe I'll go, oh, well, that way I'm gonna put a torch up and I'm gonna fight for that. But I think if we're just splitting hairs about little micro movements that are still safe and effective, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I bet I can get Brian riled up if we talk about business.
Well, I was going to say, let's talk about studio stuff, because what's interesting is you were in a situation this year that I'm going to be in 3 months where you had to relocate. You had to relocate from a place you'd been in for a while and to a new location, and you had a very limited amount of time. I had a very long, arduous process of finding a new location, and build out's about to begin, permitting, all of that kind of stuff is happening. So we're sort of in a similar boat. I haven't made the move yet. You've already moved into your new facility. How is it going?
Love the new facility. Super happy. Glad that transition's over.
Yes, I bet.
It's over. That was the first time I ever had to move.
That's brutal.
So
is this your second ever location?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The first one I was there for 11 years. And it was just, it was rough. It was rough. Luckily, I have amazing clients who are just so supportive, and they're just like, don't worry, it's cool. Oh, we got to work out in the office suite across the place right now with rug and cubicles. It's cool. They're like, we're there. I'm like, wow. And I'm like, I hate it. No, cancel class. Let's not. And they're like, just have class. We're here. So good support system. And as we all have a little perfectionism in us, right? I'm like, no, I don't want them to see this in this state. I want it to be doors open. I've got my stuff on the wall. It's the right paint, everything. And they're like, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. So that was a hard pill to swallow. It was tough. I was not in a good place. And I'm so glad that's over. But I'll be over here, Brian, for you. I'll be like,
I appreciate it. What's interesting is that I want to ask you this. Okay.
Yeah.
This move is going to be my 4th location. My 4th move. Started out at one space, moved to another, was there for 7, 8 years, then came here for 10 years, almost 11. And then now going to be moving again. What I say is, with each move, I take with it a lot of knowledge on what worked and what didn't work. So I can make the adjustments now and fine tune, because once you're in a space and everything's finalized, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I really wish that wall wasn't there. Well, guess what? The wall's there.
And you're not going to change it.
You're not going to change it. No. It costs too much. It's too difficult.
No.
But in moving, you get the opportunity to reinvent yourself.
Yes. That was wonderful part of that.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to that aspect of it, is the reinvention.
And you have time maybe I did tons of Pinterest searches on studios, fitness centers, and I saved. And on Google, I did the same thing. And then I went on social media onto my friends' places and like, what does this look like? And I was fortunate that, I was in that old place for 11 years. I visited a lot of studios.
Yeah.
And it was great to see people move into their studio for the first time and go, we'll see how long she likes that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, yeah, because, and I get it. Everyone's so gung-ho on their first place and this is going to be great. And you walk in there, you do a weekend training of whatever sorts and you feel it out. I'm like, I'm going to leave now because I'm going to leave now. So it was great to do all that traveling because I got to see and go, this is what I know for sure I want. And that's going to be a challenge. I'm going to stay away from that type of thing. Or this is trendy now. I don't know what
Right.
it's going to look
It's not
like
going to
in
last.
2 years.
Yep.
I don't
Yep.
know what that's going to look like in 2 years.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Exactly.
Yeah. So you have a little time, unless it's already train is going real quick for you. You might have some time.
I've got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And it's usually the things that I'm not the best with, like decoration and things like that, just
Yeah.
because that my focus is much more on functionality. I
Right.
want things to function well and move and flow. But at the same time, you want things to be beautiful. You want people to walk in and go, wow, this is awesome. And part of that wow moment is important, especially because you want to create that for the client when they're coming in for the very first time.
Yes.
And with each space, you have your positives and negatives. And that's why I say whenever I've moved into a new space, okay, what did I like about the last location? What didn't I like? What didn't work for me?
Yeah.
And how am I going to win? One thing that's bothering me, and I'm going to poke your brain on this off air later, is television. We have to have it for the cardio space, but it drives me crazy when I see my staff watching TV, when they're training people. And I get it. Flashy lights, it draws your eye. I had to train myself for years to completely ignore it. I don't even see it.
Yeah.
I don't even notice it being there. But it's sort of like I see them doing it and I want to go over. I want to throw a ball at them. I want to break them of the habit. So it's one of those things that I'm thinking in my head, okay, how am I going to change?
Right.
What am I going to do to make that not an issue?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a tough one. So when I was at Mercy running the fitness floor personal trainers, when we used to have TVs hanging from the ceiling, you know what solved that? And unbeknownst to me, the trainers couldn't watch it because now all the cardio equipment comes with a screen. They each come with a screen, which was an investment. And it, obviously there's gym versus us. But they each came with a screen, and then they couldn't get on the equipment. Otherwise they'd have to work out on it. And the rule is if you're wearing your uniform and you're on the clock, you can't work out. So that solved it really quickly there. But that's a tough one.
It's things like that I think as bosses and entrepreneurs, you don't think about until you're put into the situation, and you get a lot of suggestions. You get a lot of clients who say, here's what you should do.
Oh, I love
Have
that.
you ever thought about doing this? And I'm sure you've had a number of those.
Yeah. And listen, I love when a client feels the trust that they can say, hey,
anything.
Listen, clients who run multi-million-dollar companies and sold them and then started a new one and sold them. I'm like, you're a smart cookie. If you're going to share something with you, I am all ears open. So years ago, when I first started the studio, there was I had this director of marketing for an international marketing company, and they had their customers were big international names. Let's keep it that. And he goes, you should see what that new place is doing downtown. Look at how they're marketing their launch. Look at all the freebies they're giving. Look at this, look at that. I'm like, I was looking at it, I'm like, you're absolutely right, but I'm already sweating at about how much all that costs.
Yes.
Because honestly, that place, it's the daughter of the guy who owns 5 companies in the city. So I don't know, but I think that she was given this, and here you go blossom, and which is great. Hey, that's a great opportunity, but that reservoir of marketing funds that he's talking about, I don't have.
Right.
And so I just loved all that and hearing. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go check it out and see. I'm like, wow. I went to their open house. I'm like, this is a lot of stuff that they're giving away. Hundreds of people are coming in here. This is really boutique-y. And 12 months later, they closed for whatever reason. I don't know, honestly, why they closed. And I did follow up with my client. Hey, do you know what happened there? It closed. He goes, oh, I don't know. Because you know why he didn't know? because they were only hired to do this marketing launch.
Right.
They were paid and they were done.
Yeah.
It's I told him, I said, I appreciate you telling me about it. But do you remember how hard you pushed me when they were coming out? How it was almost like you were telling me, why aren't you doing that? I mean, not to say that what happened there got clients, but why didn't they stay? What's going on? We're small. I'm a small business owner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I come from an accounting background. If it makes no economic sense, I'm not gonna do it. Do you know how many times I ran group fitness classes and those trainers went to a fitness conference, which is great because we all go to fitness conferences. And what do they do at fitness conferences? They showcase what? New equipment. So this new trainer comes back and she's like, oh, there's this weighted hula hoop and I need 40 of them for my class. And I said, hula hoop, 40. Can you tell me, is this going to be a fee-based program? She goes, no. It should be a free class. No, it cannot be a free class. So those are the things that I think about.
Right.
And it's trendy. By the way, do we see weighted hula hoop classes still happening? No, because it's a trend. It was one of those, like, it was cool. And then it wasn't cool. But like Johnny G, he created the indoor cycling bike called Spinning.
Still going off strong.
And that baby has evolved, and every club, major club, has cycling.
Yep.
And now boutiques places have cycle.
Yep.
You gotta kind of look at all these things as a business owner. And I don't know, I'm gonna go off on this tangent of, as a business studio owner, I look at my neighbors and what they do, because clients go, I go to Brian's Pilates class and he taught me in a class, and there was only me, but you cancel classes if there's less than 2 people. Why is that? And I'll say, oh, okay, well, I don't know how he rolls, but I can't pay an instructor a rate if the minimum's not met. And on the website, it says classes have to have 3 people or more. Be glad to move you, be glad to not charge you, of course, but we're not having that class. Oh, well, that's just an inconvenience. And I just love how Brian always has it. And then Brian's studio closes. I wonder why that happened.
Yep.
But from a customer standpoint, they don't get it. And you know what? If they're not in the mindset, I get it. A client's like, it's cool that the class is always happening. But then I have to infuse, as a studio owner, you let me explain it to you. And once people hear it, they'll go, oh, okay. But that does it not put a little sour taste in your mouth because that happens? Because some studios don't care. And that's fine. And that's fine. And by the way, this is my 12th year now of having a studio. I see studios come and go. And people ask, why are you sticking around? I said, what do you mean sticking around? Well, other places have closed. I said, but why did they close? Because they moved on or because they couldn't stay open? I think that's a better question, because that made me mad. Why are you sticking around? No. The question is not why are you sticking around. The question should be, why couldn't they stick around?
Yeah.
No, the question should be, why are you so successful? What are you doing right that they were not?
Well, I don't want to be that type of, but you and I get it. I was like, I don't understand. We are busy. We want people to learn. We want people to work out and have a great space. But if I'm in the negative, it's not going to happen.
And that's something people don't see.
This isn't our hobby.
Right.
We open up a studio so that it's a business venture. It's a business venture. And I didn't realize this until I was in this industry, in the Pilates industry, I'll say. I did not realize that we're in the minority.
Yes.
I did not know that Annie is being bankrolled by whomever.
Yep.
And this is Annie's hobby. And listen, if I were Annie, it'd be my hobby too. So I am not throwing shade at Annie. But what I'm saying is that when clients see the differences, I look like the bad guy, because I will say, well, I have to make sure it economically is sound.
Yeah.
So I am not going to bankroll a 5-day party in the park with an international DJ and free-flowing booze, because how am I going to afford that?
Yep.
Is that really going to bring me clients? No. But is it going to get me a spot on the news and make me look cool? Sure. But at the end of the day, it does not bring me clients, right? I have this one great client, and he says, at the end of the day, is this going to help the Nico universe?
Yeah.
He goes, at the end of the day. I'm like,
Yep.
what do you mean? He's like, because he's a business guy. He goes, bottom line, is this going to help the Nico universe move forward?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to, I'll use this example. Do you need to go on this podcast? I'm like, yeah, this is exposure, right? I get to talk to my friends. I get to maybe throw a little pearl of wisdom at people who might be thinking about opening up a studio. And, you know, what's this app thing all about, or education? Yeah, this is useful. By the way, these are the things I think about when I get asked to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he goes, you need to ask yourself those questions every day. He also said, you might have to fire some clients.
I think there's a big difference between being a Pilates instructor, a personal trainer, and a business owner. And they're different hats, and you have to wear all of them. And as a business owner, we have to make different decisions than we would if we were just an employee or just working at, you know, a gym, you know, one of these big box gyms or whatever. We have to make different decisions, because for much like yours, if I make a poor decision and I go out of business, it affects my livelihood, my family, my staff's family, and all of my clients. And that's huge. That's a lot of pressure, which we all learned during, you know, the pandemic, that was a lot of pressure that was put on us. And we came out on top. We came out on the other side and we succeeded. But that's a lot of pressure. Whereas if I was just teaching a couple of classes or saw 4 or 5, you know, clients a week, that's a different mentality than it is if you're a business owner that has to succeed, because this is my life savings. I don't have a 401k with 7 figures in it. That's what I'm looking at this facility. This is what I have. I put everything into it. And you know what? I'm thrilled that it's here. I'm thrilled that I can do this. But this is where I've made my investments.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if I had one thing to say to a potential studio owner or someone who's just starting off and has lots of questions, would be, at the end of the day, why are you doing this? And the things that you are doing, is it all going towards that? If it is, great. If it's not, it's time to do something. It's time to do something. You know, I just know a lot of people that during education, and then all of a sudden, halfway through the education, oh, look who bought me keys. I'm like, a car? No, a studio. I'm like, you're not even done with the training, but whatever. And I'll be here. I'll be here. Ask me any question. I'll be happy to help. I always take it like that. And then they're like, it's just not working. I'm going to let that go. Okay. You know, that's an honest answer, right? And that's, I get it. It's hard to see it when it's local. It's hard to see it when it's someone you know. And all of a sudden they come back like, do you know what happened? I'm like, it's not my role. It's not my place. Right. It's tough. It's tough.
I think you were very lucky. I think you were very fortunate to have a strong background in finance and in accounting. So you understood a little bit more about the business side of things. Too many people, I think, have the thought when they're working for someone else, well, if they're charging $100 an hour and I'm training 30 people, and I'm only taking in a certain percentage, wow, I could be making a whole lot more if I just did it all myself. And so they open their own facility, or they try to, without realizing that running a business is much different than just training a client. It's an actual business. And if you don't know what you're doing, you better learn quick, or chances of success is very small.
Agreed. And then not only just the financial stuff, but also just your your time commitment has immensely changes, right? When you start to own your own thing, and you have to decide where your boundaries are. Am I going to reply to these emails? Am I going to answer this phone call? If I don't answer the phone call, am I going to lose revenue?
Mm-hmm.
If I don't do it, who's going to do it?
Yep.
Oh, I have nobody else. I have to do that. So now I have to
Mhm.
sacrifice other things that I absolutely love doing. And then eventually there's like, you got to figure that out. Right. And the hardest
Exactly.
part for me was letting things go and allowing other people to help. One of the greatest things I've learned is, as entrepreneurs, we think we can do it all. And sure, we can do it all, but are we the best at doing it all? And we might think it's my company. Yes, but somebody else has the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? To invest in that. And then again, clients, your time is valuable, Nico. Let's say if it was $150 an hour, you're wasting $150 an hour creating that email. Why aren't you paying someone significantly less to do that? And you can do something else, enjoy that time, or make $150. And I
Mm-hmm.
went, oh, while they're in plank and making me mad, you're absolutely right.
Hold that plank.
You made me angry.
I love it. I love it. Well, I would love if Nora's open to this, because we're wrapping things up. I would love to invite you back to discuss business and really the studio side of things,
Oh, yeah.
because I think it would be very interesting to sort of dive a lot deeper into it and sort of a what if we were to create, the perfect studio. What would it be? What would it, all of that kind of stuff. I think that'd be fun to talk about.
Yeah, all the little things that people think they're like, oh yeah, I know. I'm like, no,
You don't know.
the paint chips. Oh, but did you know that the contractor actually has to do the wall before the floor and blah blah blah, and that's going to take time. That's what happened to me here. Like, so I think those little step by steps are just like as we go roll through things, and then, well, I want this type of equipment. Okay, yeah, sure, but that equipment is going to take this amount of space, and your square footage is only 400 square feet.
Yep.
Oh, and you can't, like Brian said, I can't tear down that wall.
Exactly.
Right? I was like, sir, yeah, that's now that I'm beyond that. Maybe, next time you'll be past that moment. We can talk about it after the dust settles.
Exactly. I'd love it.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I learned obviously more about you, but also thank you for, explaining a little bit more about Pocket Pilates so that people can, basically have an opportunity to expand their horizon, expand what they know. And I love that it's done in small nuggets so that they don't have to watch an entire video series just to find 2 exercises they like.
Right. It's there, and it's always growing. There's always stuff. We have over 200 video clips in the library, and I call it the hungry baby because every week there's five new little things clips. So there's always something fresh and new. Of course, people have more questions. They can always send me an email and all that stuff. But yeah, be glad to share the link so people can try it for 7 days. See if you like it. There's no commitment for 7 days. Just go in and play along, create classes, have fun, show your clients that you can actually connect with them more versus just thinking about what is next, right? What is next, right? I'd rather trainers like really focusing on connecting and interacting with the clients and seeing how they're doing and doing the tweaks and giving the amazing eye versus, okay, they have 4 more reps. What next?
Yep.
Right. But yeah, I totally
Love it.
appreciate it. Yeah, that'd be great to come back. And I appreciate you guys having me. Love the platform. Love how it's open. Yeah, it's just looking forward to more.
Awesome. Do you have anything else, Nora, you want to ask or dot?
No, thank you. That was a wide-ranging topics, lots of different things to talk about, and I got a little bit of a sense of your breadth and depth, which is really exciting. And I loved you guys' conversation about being studio owners. I'm no longer a studio owner, so I was leaving that to you guys. But no, thank you so much for coming, Nico. It was great having you, and we look forward to having you again.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And as always, thank you guys for listening to another awesome episode. Thanks, Nico, for joining us. If you want if you have a suggestion or a comment, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, movingcombos@gmail.com, or Instagram, Moving Combos, Facebook, we're Moving Conversations. Hit the like, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff. We really appreciate it. Please comment as well. And for Nora St. John, I'm Brian Ritchie. We will see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.